Pick a cause that does excite you. Pick a cause that you could pour your time and your energy into. Because when you find that thing that you're most passionate about, it will pull the most from you, and you'll be able to make the greatest difference with the world. I began to understand the nature of charity much more, and the way that I understand it and explain it now is that charity, to me, can be thought of as active gratitude. When we have a sensation of gratitude inside of us, that's an emotion that's inside of us. But when we take action and we put that gratitude, and that gratitude inspires action, and puts us into motion, then it becomes active. It's passive if it's within us, if it's active if we're using it to inspire us and to make a difference. Another way to think of charity is as kinetic love. Once again, though, love, when we feel that emotion inside of us, it's great. It has the potential to empower us to do many things. But once we put it to motion, it becomes kinetic, and then we're using that love to help make a difference in the world. I found that the benefits that we receive and the benefits that the world receives whenever we do something kind or generous for other people really boils down to three different fundamentals. The first one is emotional benefits. Every time we do something for another person, we feel good emotionally. Nobody would argue that we feel good inside when you do something for the benefit of another. It's because when we think of another person and we act for the benefit of another person, it releases certain hormones in us. It releases certain endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin. These are the feel-good hormones that make us feel good. That can increase your overall sense of happiness. It can decrease physical manifestations or emotional manifestations of stress and anxiety that are taking place in your life. But no matter who you are, when you do something for the benefit of another person, it provides this benefit. There was one study at National Institute of Health where they showed that even thinking about charity provides benefit. They put a sample group of people into an fMRI machine and watched their brain activity when they did something for the benefit of other people. And they found even just thinking about an act of charity, even thinking about reaching out and helping somebody in need, stimulated the mesolimbic system in the brain. So you don't even have to commit an act, and it doesn't need to be a big grand act to make a difference for somebody else and to make a difference for yourself, just thinking about it. Another way that acts of service benefit everybody is physiologically. Some studies have shown that physiologic differences, acts of service can lower blood pressure, reduce physical stress, and even prolong life. When you commit an act of service, those same hormones that are released in your body and your brain that help you feel better also make your body function better physically. The last of the three fundamental ways that service and charity benefits everybody is spiritually. Now, spirituality, that's where people look to answer the question of how do I live my life? How do I connect with something greater than myself? Most of us find that through religion. Some people find it through other ways. But I was wondering how universal the spiritual benefit of charity was. So I referenced many different religious texts that I could to figure out how different religions talked about charity and the value of charity. One of the texts I found said, "And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins." You might recognize that from 1 Peter 4:8. Another text said, "Be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity," which is a reference to the Quran. Another text said that there are three cardinal virtues of self-restraint, compassion, and charity, which is found in Hinduism. Another text I read said that there's different perfections to strive for in your life and in your work. The first of them is called Dana Parami, which is translated to mean generosity and giving of oneself, which is how the Buddhists understand the value of charity. And the last text I'll reference says that the sage does not accumulate for himself. The more does he possess of his own, the more that he gives to others, which is how the Taoists value service and charity. So there's more than 4,400 recognized religions in the world, and I certainly didn't read the text of all of them, but just these 7 references account for 6 billion people in the world. And I wasn't really good in statistics in college, but I'm comfortable enough to say that if you take a sampling that's 6 billion out of 7 billion, it's safe to come to the conclusion that we all benefit spiritually when we give or do something for the benefit of another person. I realize that this is the common thread. This one thing, charity, service, the way that we benefit when we do things for other people is one common thread that we all share. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter your nationality, your religion, your race, creed, color, age, gender, when you do something for the benefit of another person, when you serve another person, you gain. And this is something that all 7 billion people in the world share. This is one common thread that unites us all. We spend a lot of time thinking about all of the ways that we differ. We spend a lot of time thinking about how we're different than other people, either in beliefs or in nationality or in our favorite sports teams, especially in March. But I believe that all the pain and suffering that we know in the world is born of these differences. It's born of focusing on these differences. If for no other reason, the common thread of service and charity gives us one thing to focus on that helps unite us all. It gives us one thing to focus our time and energy on that will help break down some of the divides that we have and solve some of the pain and the suffering. Because I believe that we, in our hands, have the cure to all the pain and the suffering that we know in the world.